Good morning. How's it going, guys? We're going to do a special live video today. I'm going to do my makeup, but as I'm talking, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my why and my story with Unique. Oh, I'm just going to show it to my groups. Hold on one sec. It's way down the bottom. So basically, I'm going to tell my story of how I got into selling Unique and what it has done for me. So I'm just sharing into my groups really quickly. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that should be good. So when you guys hop on, say hello. Hey, Shauna. When you're here, say hi. You can put the number 1 in the comments. Sorry, I've got my phone like way down here on the bottom. Put number 1 in the comments if you're watching live with me. And if you're watching the replay, there's no red live button. You can just put the number 2. Just inviting a couple of people. And then I'll put my phone down, I promise. Okay, so my skin, oh my goodness, my skin is freaking out. Hey Deborah, hey Corey. The winter hates my skin. And I was just posting about how clear my skin has been with Curology, which it has been for months. But oh my gosh, it's freaking out and it's like angry and so dry. So I actually have the night cream on my face right now because it's so dry. But we're gonna fix this up. And I have Gloria's primer on and my eye primer because I like to just get that going like first and foremost. So I'm gonna start doing my foundation. Not a super sunny day, but I think that the lighting is okay because the snow outside is so bright that I think it's fine. Oh wait, this is eyelet. I want to do organza. So I'm going to do a really simple base face this morning with a really classic neutral eye. This is like the starter palette for the quad shadows. This is a look that I really love. And we're going to do like a soft pink lip using all Kudos products this morning. And I'm just releasing my dropper on my liquid foundation. I'll shake it up. And we're going to talk about my story. You got none? I mean, yeah, it was snow from this weekend, but there's so much of it. It's so bright outside. Hey, Christine, good morning. So when you guys are here, just say hi so I can talk to you and we can chat. Number 1 in the comments if you're watching live. Number 2 if you're watching the replay. So basically, my why story, I've been asked to share my why story. We've kind of all been doing this on my team this week. So I feel like my why is like very interesting because I never thought that I was going to be a Unique presenter. I had really like no interest in it in the beginning. Powder concealer brush. I first got introduced to Unique through my mom, who was invited to a party with my upline, and she loved the products. Hey, Lori. She loved the product. She actually became a Unique presenter just kind of for the discount on makeup. And she was grabbing a bunch of stuff for me like bronzer, BB cream, I think an addiction shadow palette, some bonbons, like little stuff here and there. And she did parties with my upline, and then I kind of decided that I wasn't really into it at that point. I've always loved makeup, but I really just wasn't into the whole Facebook piece of it. And it's not that I didn't like it. I just kind of like didn't have time to be on Facebook and like looking at that stuff at that point in my life. I just wasn't that interested, to be totally honest, which is funny because now I'm in one of the top spots globally for Facebook parties. And at the time I was kind of just like not interested. Okay, awesome. Hey, Karen. But as I started trying more and more of the products, I really started falling in love with them and also just like realizing that I'd been putting off like my love for makeup for a while. So at the time I was a preschool teacher and I was just like, I was commuting far, working really early in the morning a lot of the times. And I just didn't have time for makeup, which I think a lot of women can kind of relate to in whatever situation you're in. Like everyone is so busy this day and age. So I loved makeup. I never wore like foundation or anything, but I would just do like a quick swipe of mascara, sometimes like a colored eyeliner on my top lid, which is like funny because I don't ever use eyeliner anymore. And then there's just like a chapstick, like my soft lips that I still use. I'm gonna do some concealer on my spots. So at the time I just really wasn't wearing a lot of makeup, but Unique got me back into it. And I found myself like waking up a little earlier to like do makeup just because it made me feel good. So that was like a huge stepping stone for me. And then I found myself, I would share selfies on my upline's beauty page because I was like, feeling myself. I was liking the way the makeup was coming out. I was like, I've always been a really confident person, but I think I was just like getting some more confidence in my makeup skills. But still, like I hosted parties with my upline and I still wasn't really like into selling. I really just never ever thought about it, to be totally honest. Everyone has such like a unique unique, a very unique story. And mine was just that it really wasn't on my radar to sell at all. I'm gonna go with Scarlet for under the eyes. So yeah, like for a while I was just using the makeup, hosting parties and blah, blah, blah. So I was using it for a while, and then actually during this time I got a new job. So I was teaching preschool when I first started using Unique, and then I had left that job. I was still teaching Pure Barre both times. And I took a job as a nanny, which is what I'm currently still doing. And then like he was an infant at the time, and you know, it was a great job, but I kind of felt like I needed a little bit more like mental stimulation, I think, to be totally honest. And I sort of just kind of like one day, this sounds so silly, but one day after, you know, being into the makeup for so long and kind of watching others' journeys and stuff, I just kind of woke up and was like, I think I want to be a Unique presenter. I think this is my time to do this. So this is like, you know, some time has passed between this. It was a while that I was using the products. Hey, Stephanie, I'm going to do a little contouring. So at that time, I was like, you know what? I really am just up for the challenge. I want something new. I want to like challenge my brain, try something a little bit out of my comfort zone. If you guys like don't know some of my story, I'm very big into stepping out of your comfort zone. Basically, when I was younger, when I first graduated from college, I worked as an editor, and it was fine. It was pretty boring. It was an office job, but it was what I went to school for. And when I graduated, it was a really tough time to get a job. So it was like kind of what I wanted to do, but like vaguely. And I really found that I hated working in an office, which this is different for everyone. You could work in an office and be totally happy with that. I just really don't think that the office, like 9-to-5 life, is best for my personality. I was basically like in a cube, you know, sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, you know, half-hour lunch break. It was like in a very commercial part of Burlington where it was like we couldn't really even walk around anywhere. So I saw very little daylight. You know, in the winter you go to work, it's dark out. You get home, it's dark out. Like it was just kind of like a bleak existence, and I really was unhappy with it. But I was unhappy for a really long time. I think I worked there for 3 years. And I just was like, the whole time, I really wanted to teach preschool at that point. I had done it in college, but when I realized I loved it in college, I was already like halfway done with my degree, and I could have switched to go into like early childhood education, but I didn't. And because I felt like I'm already halfway done with, you know, my editing degree, I need to just do this, you know what I mean? I went to school for journalism and English. So it was always in the back of my mind. I wasn't happy with my office job. So then finally, after complaining to my mom and my best friends for like pretty much years, I finally was like, you know what, I'm just gonna make the jump. And what was holding me back was that I was gonna have to basically start over. I was already like not making much money. I was young, like post-grad, and I was gonna have to start over again, you know what I mean? I felt like I was like setting myself back, and if you know anything about teaching preschool, the money is horrible. So I was taking like my already no money, I was like living paycheck to paycheck, and I was gonna basically go backwards, but I was like, you know what, F it. You know, everyone in my life that cares about me thinks this is what I should do, this is a good idea, and I'm just gonna do it. I'll make it work, it's not a big deal. So I did, but that was one of like the scariest things, and I realized so many people go through life complaining about their situations. We all do it. Because you're unhappy, but really you're just one decision away from changing your life. So that was like a big life-changing moment for me when I was younger. It may not sound like that much, but I made a decision. I wasn't happy, and I took myself out of it, and I felt so good. And teaching preschool was a challenge for me. It was totally new, but it was also like a very active job, and I realized that me like moving around and having like lots of different tasks throughout the day was like what I really needed in my personality. So that was super eye-opening for me. And that was like the first time I'd ever done that. So we're going back in time here. So while I was teaching preschool, I was a client at Pure Barre Burlington, which is where I've been a client for over 6 years, and I teach there. Hey, Linda. So basically I was a client for, I think, 6 months. I took a short break because the commute was crazy. If you guys don't know me, my commute's always been crazy. I've lived in a million different places and worked in a bunch of different places too that were not close. I took a short break, and then I went back, even though my commute was horrible, because I loved it so much. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna drive there because it makes me happy. I love Pure Barre, it makes me feel good, it's a good stress release, all of that. So when I was younger, I've had a lot of different dreams. Like I did want to be a preschool teacher. I wanted to be a writer when I was young. I wanted to work at Sephora. That was like, it may sound silly, but I just like loved, like I wanted to work at a makeup counter, like at Macy's. Another thing I wanted to do was be a fitness instructor, and I never thought that I could do it because, I mean, I come on here and I talk to you guys, but if you know me in real life, I'm actually pretty shy. I'm like a weird combo of being outgoing and shy. So like the thought of like talking in front of a bunch of people and having to think really fast like really freaked me out, but that always appealed to me. So the second big life change that I took, which may sound silly to you, but it was not silly to me, was reaching out to my boss and asking her to train me to teach Pure Barre, which like I had no previous experience other than the fact that I took Pure Barre as a client, and basically I was way out of my comfort zone to ask for that. But my first big change of like going to teach preschool and like how liberating that was and how happy I was really pushed me to do that again. So I did it. It was really, really hard for me. It didn't come easy at all. I had to work really hard, and that was another life-changing moment. It was kind of just like me realizing that, you know, not everything is going to come easily to you, but if you really want it and you make a decision to stick with something, you really need to stick with it and see it out. And that's what I did. I had told everyone I was going to be a Pure Barre teacher. There was no way I was giving up, even though it was really hard from the beginning. I was not very good. I stuck with it. I kept practicing. And now I'd say I'm a pretty decent Pure Barre teacher. It took me a while to get to that point. But I'm just saying, like, anything that's worth doing kind of comes with a little risk and some worth. So that was my second moment of just kind of like, you know, whatever. So I have a bunch of these moments. This kind of all ties into my story of Unique. So just we're getting there. So then I had been, at this point I'm teaching Pure Barre and I'm teaching preschool, and I really love teaching preschool, but teaching preschool in like a daycare setting is kind of like thankless. If you guys are a preschool teacher or you send your children to like a daycare, just give your preschool teachers some extra love, because I'm going to be quite honest with you, you're super underpaid, really overworked. A lot of the times there's like huge turnover. So there's people that are like, you know, maybe don't even have any experience with children. They just have like a high school diploma and they're like, you're in. Like there's no training for it a lot of times. It just makes for a very stressful workplace, because if you have training, you end up kind of training everyone else, and you're constantly just like pulled in a million directions for like the smallest amount of money ever. So that basically was just like one of the, even though I loved the work, the job itself was just like, I was mentally exhausted all the time. So my life change number 3 was that I was like, I told myself a long time ago, if I'm not happy, I'm not going to do this. So I ended up, one of my best friends was moving to California, and she was doing a cross-country trip. And at this time I was like, I'm ready to be done with this chapter of my life, but I don't know exactly what's coming. So what I did was, I was like, I really, really want to come on the trip with you, and we're going to drive from Boston to California. And I just went to work and I put in my notice. I was like, this is not right for me anymore. I, at the time, was thinking about shifting into like being a kindergarten teacher and like going back to school for my master's. But I didn't end up doing that. But I gave my notice. I went on the trip because it was something I really, really wanted to do. I was so done with the job, and I was just putting faith in that. I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to land on my feet. I always do. I'm not happy. I don't want to miss this trip. I never had time off, so I wouldn't have been able to go on the trip. And I didn't like quit my job to go on the trip. It just kind of like lined up that way. I was ready to do it, and it was like the only way I was going to be able to go on the trip. So I did give my notice. And then the stars kind of just aligned, and I asked my boss at Pure Barre if she could give me a couple more classes, and she was like, she had just had a baby, and she was like, well, of course I can give you my classes because I need a nanny, basically. And then like this light bulb moment just happened. And I was like, well, I have a lot of experience with children. I could be your nanny and I could teach your classes. And that's kind of how I ended up at this, my most happy point up to like today, where I nanny for Jack and I teach Pure Barre. And that's been like the best combination for me, because I've got like my outlet with like adults where I'm teaching adults and being active. And then I've got like the small amount that I'm with Jack. So I've got 2 different jobs going. and we're out and about all day. I'm not sitting down all day, which is like the worst thing for me. And it's just been awesome. So that kind of, those three things of always just kind of moving towards happiness and what I really want to do. I mean, I think I just realized that life is really short. And if you're not happy, like, let's just change it. You know what I mean? It's really, it sounds like simple to say, and people have a lot of like different circumstances. Of course, I was young. I don't have a family. Like, it wasn't like, it was a little easier for me to just like up and leave. But I think that if you're not happy, you can make a change. So coming into the unique part, like I started to talk about in the beginning, I was nannying. I was kind of like, I was happy doing it. I was teaching Pure Barre, and I was like, you know what? I think I can fit something else in, and I think I can like, I want something more challenging, just like something new to challenge my brain. At the time, my husband and I had just bought our house, and it happened really quickly. We were kind of like, we were married for, I guess we were married for a year at that point, and we were kind of like, we should start looking at houses. And it was like, this house is the second house that we saw. So it happened super quickly. It was around Christmas time. And it like just, I think, scared us both because the mortgage was so much more than we ever paid in rent. And like the numbers just kind of scare you when you like are going to look at all the numbers with your mortgage and all that. And I was like, holy crap, I think that we're going to be house poor. Like we're just going to be living and working to live in this house. So I was freaked out by that. So that was the second piece that kind of like pushed me towards unique. Cause I'm thinking in my mind, I talked it over with my mom and Tim, and I was kind of like, you know what, even if I can just, you know, do this a little bit as a hobby on the side, and I can have a little bit of extra money for like groceries, that would be cool. You know what I mean? So we all kind of decided it was a good idea for me. There was no risk. I was going to buy the kit. It was $99. So worst case, I would have not even lost $99 because I'm getting like $300 worth of makeup in it. So it was a makeup purchase that made sense. I had a lot of the stuff that was in the kit at that point, but I had like shine cloth and mascara in it and all that stuff that I always like reuse. You know what I mean? Not reuse, but need to restock. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Dad. I'm like sliding away. I'm getting closer. So it was really like a no-brainer. So even if I decided it didn't work out, it was like not a thing. It was not a risk. There's no fees. There's no like auto ships. You don't have to spend certain fees to stay active. You need to sell $125 every 3 months, and that's like easy to do with my own purchases. So we went for it. I say we because I had to talk it over with my trusty peeps, my mom and my husband. So we went into it with the idea that it was going to be like grocery money. But that first month, it was already more than grocery money the first month. Oh, and the bag it comes with is amazing. So the first month I hit yellow and pink. And I actually, looking back on my numbers, I could have hit blue too. But at the time, I just didn't know what I was doing. But I had hit like the money requirement of it. So right away, it was way more than grocery money. It was like mortgage payment money. You know what I mean? Like a portion of it. So I think I was just not, I was gonna say like hooked from the start. I really like enjoyed the work. For me, it's like a nice creative outlet. I like to do makeup. I like sharing things that I love with people. And it's just like fun for me, and I get to connect with so many people. But like the business side of it, it was like, it moved quickly, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like this is gonna solve my house poor problems, because this is like a way for me to have money to live and not just be like working to live in my house. You know what I mean? So that was like the money side of it. And then, so basically I was working 3 jobs, and I put a lot into Unique. And I'm not telling you that you're gonna, you know, right off the bat, you're gonna be making your mortgage payment. That's not like realistic. I put a lot of work into what I do, but you totally have the opportunity to make money with this job. I'm not gonna lie to you. The opportunity is there. If you want it, you can go and get it. And everyone that knows me knows I put a ton into my Unique business, but it has allowed me to like just live a life that I didn't think I was gonna have. I just feel like comfortable about buying stuff for myself. You know, I bought the couch in my house, like a brand new couch when we moved in. I've paid for like all of our vacations. We do the incentive trip, and I paid for like the plane tickets. I pay for all of our weekends away, like stuff that's extra. It's almost like a savings account for us. and we just don't have to worry about stuff because it's my third job. You know what I mean? Like I have a full-time job and I do this on the side. So this pays for like house projects and like big stuff, you know what I mean? And mostly I save it so that we have a little cushion. But now, many of you guys know, I posted about it last week, I'm actually leaving my full-time job. So like I kind of touched on before, my commute has been crazy since I graduated college. I've been commuting like at least 45 minutes every day for most of the time since I graduated college 10 years ago. Now I feel so old. So let me just grab my fluffy crease brush. Where is it? I'm gonna start doing some eyeshadow with this gorgeous palette. So I've always commuted pretty far. And I just can't do it anymore. Now that, like, so when we bought this house in Framingham, I knew that this commute was gonna be crazy, and it is, and I'm surprised that I've lasted as long as I did, but it takes me about an hour to drive to work every day. And it really just kind of, this is coming full circle, but it's just kind of grates on my, like, mental health. I'm not a person that does well sitting in the car, sitting in traffic, and like wasting my time being in the car like 10 hours a week. So I've finally made the decision that I'm leaving my full-time job, which I'm actually really sad about. Next week is going to be my last day on Thursday. I've had like a 2-month notice, so it's been like in my mind forever, but it feels like forever. It's been 2 months. But I'm leaving my Pure Barre studio and I'm leaving Jack, and it's just like the end of an era. It's really sad. But what isn't sad about it is that I didn't have to feel like I had to rush into like a job that maybe it wasn't like right for me, or that stress of looking for another job, because I'm just gonna do Pure Barre. I am gonna do Pure Barre too. I'm just gonna do Unique. I've built myself a business on my own terms because it's my business, and I've worked hard enough that I actually can just do Unique and stay home, which is amazing. Because I mean, eventually, I'm 32. At some point, Tim and I are gonna have kids, and I would like to have something like this so that I can stay home, at least part-time, because I'm probably not gonna stay home full-time, but having this like work from home opportunity is really, really good for us. And it just makes me happy. And the best part is I don't have to commute anywhere. Like, that's just craziness. So starting after next week, we're going on vacation the first week of February, and then I'm gonna be working from home because I created this opportunity for myself and I worked really hard at it. So that's kind of like my whole story. I never thought that it would end up at this point, but I'm really, really happy that it has. It's been amazing. It was never really like, well, you know what? I'm not going to say never. I do think in the back of my mind, as like a woman in her 30s that's married, I've always kind of hoped that it would turn into something that I could do once we had kids, because I think it's kind of like the perfect opportunity for someone that's been a preschool teacher, that I kind of just want to be, I've always wanted to stay home a little bit once we have kids. So that's kind of part of it. But I just didn't know if it was possible that it would be like enough, but it is, and it's been awesome. So basically, I'm going to be running my own business from my house, and I'm super excited about it. Okay, we're gonna switch over. I just did Astute in the crease, and then we're gonna do, this is like a really nice, these are like my go-tos for just like my neutrals. I'm actually gonna softly do a little bit of Marvelous in the crease, and then we'll do Antsy over top. Marvelous is just like a matte dark brown. But then other things I wanted to talk about besides like money and stuff, I really wanted to talk about just like the people and the connections that I've made just by doing this business. And it may sound like silly if you see like Unique presenters like talking about like the sisterhood or whatever. Maybe you think it sounds like cliche and whatever you think, but I really have made some really good friends through this business, and it makes me laugh because I feel like I'm like Drake, like no new friends. Like I've got plenty of friends, like really close friends. I'm lucky to have a really like tight knit from college, and like my high school friends and my college high school friends are friends with my friends. Like we have a huge group, and I'm really blessed to have that. But I've met like so many people through Unique. I've met like so many of people that are Pure Barre clients that I see every day. I've gotten to know so much better because they've become Unique customers of mine, and it's just allowed me to like really kind of know them as people more than just like in and out of the studio. Like I talk to them all the time through my posts, and I talk to them in Messenger, I talk to them in real life, and it's kind of given me a way into like meeting more people. And then again, Tim and I, you know, bought this house in Framingham, and I'm not from the Metro West. Tim is, he's from Hopkinton. I'm from Gloucester, and I lived in Boston with friends for a while. Excuse me, guys. So I have a couple of friends that are our mutual friends, like kind of live close by, but I don't like have a lot of friends out here that are from Metro West. But it's funny, I've actually met a really good group of women here because I did a unique party, like a fundraiser for the town. Not for the town, but like something that was going on in the town. And I'm actually like real life friends with them now, which is amazing because I would never have known them, and we hang out like all the time now. So little silly little things like that you don't even really think about. It's totally changed my life. Like I've met people I would not have otherwise known. Do you know what I mean? And that really is just pretty priceless. I really have like, I have nothing negative to say about my experience with Unique. It's been nothing but positive. We also have like we have a very close like team relationship. We kind of like, we have different team chats that we do. We stay connected. We like push each other and do like different training groups. Some of the girls on my team we've met up in real life and hung out, and they're so awesome. My friends Michelle and Lish, like I've hung out with them outside of, you know, I've hung out with them in real life many, many times, and I feel super close to them. We go to convention, and it's just like basically a big girls trip, which is so fun. I mean, the whole convention's amazing just because you get all the new makeup. It's like a super hype session. It's so fun, but you also get to like hang out with all the people that you met through Facebook, and these people are real. Like these are really awesome people that I know. And it's just awesome to have like more friends, because who doesn't need more friends? You know what I mean? I'm going to do a little bit under for some liner. Hey, Lauren. So really, if you guys are interested, something that stuck with me was like another presenter saying that it's really mean of you to not offer the opportunity because this can do so much for so many women. So if you do have any questions, I am a super open book, and I can answer any concerns or questions that you might have. Just message me. I will tell you straight up my honest truth. I'm gonna do a little bit more of the dark brown. So just let me know if that is something that appeals to you. But it's true, like it is mean of me to not offer the opportunity all the time, because it's done so many great things for me, and it could for you. I have so many different, everyone has so many different stories on my team of like how they came into this. Like we've got, you know, stay-at-home moms, people that work full-time jobs and have like multiple kids. Some people do this as like a hobby. Some people do this full-time. Some people just kind of use it for like a discount for themselves on what they're already going to buy anyway, because you're going to earn, you know, a little bit of commission on every purchase. So really there's like a lot of options. Kind of can fit it into your own lifestyle. We're just going to blend this out, and then I'll put a little bit of Optimistic on the inner corner. I just want to softly blend out the crease line. I was going to do a little powder on my face, and I think I forgot because I was talking. Okay. Just like a light blend, see how that just kind of works out. But yeah, so then let's see, who else do we have on my team? We have people of all ages. We've got people that are in their 20s and they work full time. We've got people in their 60s, everyone in between, people with kids, without kids, people that are married, single, full-time jobs, what have you, like really demanding jobs too. It kind of just like, you fit it in how it works into your life. Like I kind of ran with mine. I put a lot into it. Even though it was a part-time job, I work a lot because I love it. I really enjoy it and putting myself into it. But really, it's totally just up to you. Okay. So let me know if you guys have any questions. You can just comment on this and I'll message you. And we're gonna do a little bit of Optimistic, and I'm gonna put it on my ring finger, and we're just gonna pop it right here. This is my favorite trick. It's gonna go right in the inner corner. See that? It's gorgeous. And I'm actually gonna pop off this live video because I'm done talking about my Y store, but you guys can contact me if you have questions. And we're just gonna do some mascara in a second video. So if you wanna hop back on and see this finished product, just hop back on, okay guys? All right, I will talk to you soon. Thank you for listening.